This is a video to go over sample question number 2. This is the question where you have to think about expected values in the decisions that you are making. This is an extension on the ideas of opportunity cost, and it gets into the idea that we live in an uncertain world where the outcomes that we're trying to make decisions about aren't necessarily guaranteed. And so therefore we have to think probabilistically. What is the likelihood that we're actually going to get certain outcomes? And in this case, you're trying to decide about what to do for work. You're trying to decide about whether you should work in editing and proofreading or whether or not you should go into the more creative world of desktop publishing. And there's a number of things to think about. And the frame that we're going to use in making this decision is one of expected value, where the expected value of any choice we're going to make is based on the probability that we're going to get the value of that outcome. So we need to think about the value of each outcome, multiply it times the probability of that outcome, and then subtract out the cost of making that choice. Now in this case, the cost to both choices are the same. You're buying a computer, and that computer is going to cost you $1,000. So I'll just write that in here. We have identical same costs. The thing that's different here is the expected values. Proofreading, if you go into the proofreading and editing job, well, that has a guaranteed, right, 100% likelihood that you will be paid $4,000 for doing that job. You get $4,000 for it, you have to subtract out the cost of doing that job, so your expected value of doing that job should be $3,000. Now, on the other hand, you have the idea of creative desktop publishing. Well, how much are you going to make there? Well, this is where we start to get into expected values. And the expected value in this situation is not a guaranteed payment. If it works out well for you, you could make $7,000. However, there is only a 50% likelihood that you will get this. And so therefore, we have to multiply this by 0.5. Right? This 0.5 represents our 50% likelihood of actually achieving this outcome. And what this means is that our overall expected outcome is $3,750. So this, right, is what we can actually expect to get from this job. Subtract out the 1,000. This gives us an expected value of $2,750. Less than what we would get for editing and publishing, editing and proofreading. So even though this is a possibility, creative desktop publishing has a possibility of paying more money, because the likelihood of it's only 50%, this is what we could really expect the value of that to be. Therefore, when it comes to choosing what job to do, we're going to choose editing and proofreading.